This is a Samsung Galaxy A34 which goes for $310 and I love it. But for $70 more, you can get the Samsung Galaxy A54, which is a bigger sibling, but the real question here is, which is better value for your money? And I'm going to help you find out. First off, out of the box you get both smartphones, a Type-C to C cable, and okay, a SIM ejector, and that's it. This year, both the A34 and the A54 share a similar design DNA, borrowing inspiration from their big brother, the S23 flagship. It's like they're the stylish siblings who inherited the good genes, but you can tell that one is the mama's favorite. The Galaxy A54 has the premium Gorilla Glass 5 protection for both ends, while there's this protection only for the front glass of the A34. The design choice is actually similar for both of these devices. In fact, you even get an IP67 rating for both of the smartphones, and you only begin to notice that they have huge bezels when compared to the S-series lineup. But right now, you get a stereo speaker configuration, hybrid SIM trays for both of the smartphones, and an optical in-display fingerprint sensors, which isn't the fastest but gets the job done, and actually cool looking devices. Where things get a little different is when you flip over to the front side, and while you get a punch hole camera from the A54, this one gives you a U-shaped front-facing camera, which is clumsy and cuts more of the screen out compared to the A54's circular floating cutout. Now for me, I prefer a slightly smaller device, which is the A54 here in terms of the design, and a glassware and cutout notch all screen premium. And that gives the point to the Samsung Galaxy A54. Now let's talk about the displays. The Galaxy A34 may have a bigger screen here, but let's be real, size isn't everything. Hey! Or is it? If you want a bigger screen, the Galaxy A34 has a 6.6-inch display as opposed to the 6.4 you get here from the A54. Both are AMOLED screens and refresh at 120Hz, so some of the best displays you can get for the price. 1000 nits in brightness is what you should expect from both of those devices, and I can't even say these are bad displays for any reason. These displays maintain similar color profiles as with the Samsung Galaxy S23 Ultra. They are great for outdoor use, great Full HD Plus resolution, high refresh rate, vibrant looking, and similar color reproduction. In as much as I'd love to give the point to the A54 because of the notch here, I'd say it's a tie as there isn't any noticeable difference between these displays. By the way, if you want a slightly bigger smartphone, the A34 is the device to pick. For both of these smartphones, you get a stereo set of speakers, which are really clean and clear. But the fact that both do not have a headphone jack is something I'm not a huge fan of. You pretty much get the same audio in terms of calls and recordings you make with the smartphones, and for some reason, the Galaxy A34 seems to be slightly better in terms of the audio playback from these speakers. Maybe it has to do with the larger chassis and acoustics. I'll give the point here to the Galaxy A34. User experience is something Samsung really takes seriously. Both phones run on Android 13 styled into One UI 5.1. You should expect up to 4 years of major software updates from both of the smartphones as promised by Samsung. There isn't a difference here as both smartphones are the same, so yet another tie for these devices. While the Samsung Galaxy A54 is powered by the Exynos 1380 processor, which is better than the slower one we got from the A53 last year, you get a Galaxy A34 that is being powered by the less powerful MediaTek Dimensity 1080 chipsets. Generally, the A54's processor is a better chipset, and the Exynos 1380 here has a faster performance than the MediaTek Dimensity 1080 chipset. And for the fact that the 1380 was built on a 5nm process, it is more battery efficient. While both smartphones are 5G enabled, you have UFS 3.1 storage speeds, and they can record videos at up to 4K. For performance actually, the multi-core score is 10% better from the 1380 on the Galaxy A54. So the win actually does go to the Galaxy A54 yet again. Now let's talk about the cameras. The Galaxy A54 has a better camera system as expected. Both smartphones are pretty much neck to neck. Well, kinda. You get a 48 megapixel sensor for the main camera on the A34 as opposed to 50 megapixels here, and both support optical image stabilization. 8 megapixels as against 12 megapixels ultra wide, and both have 5 megapixels macro lenses. On the front facing camera side of things, you get a 13 megapixel for the A34 and 32 megapixel sensor on the A54. I had to dig deep to be able to notice that there is slightly better details from the A54 than the A34 for indoor photos. But most of the time, you might not be able to tell the difference. At other times, the color temperature is colder on the A54. In fact, there were instances where the A54 didn't properly handle exposure on a quick shoot. But whenever you try to take underexposed photos, the A54 does a better job at processing and giving a better exposed final shot. Moving over to night shots, the photos from the A54 are actually ahead, and this isn't even a comparison. Same better details can be seen when you take ultra-wide shots from the Galaxy A54 and A34. I also did notice that the ultra-wide had a warmer look for the A54 when compared to the main sensor, while the A34 had a more consistent look. On the video side of things, you can record up to 4K resolution at 30 FPS for both the front and the rear cameras. And you can only record stabilized footages at up to 1080p. Now, slightly different temperatures for the videos on the smartphones, and the warmer color boost you get from the A34 tends to hide some inefficiencies, but the more natural and occasional cooler look can give more details in videos from the Galaxy A54. Now, videos is closed for the front-facing cameras except for a slightly different color temperature yet again most of the time. Now, the selfies have truer colors on the A54 skin tones, and it seems a little bit too plasticky on the Galaxy A34. And by the way, other colors do match across board. For the portrait mode, you get the same edge detection, and the win goes to the Galaxy A54 this time in terms of the camera. Both smartphones out of the box come with 5000 mAh batteries, and you definitely get over 6 hours screen on time from both of these devices. A support for 25 watt fast charging is what you get for these devices, giving you 100 charge in about 2 hours. Of course, you need to get those chargers separately because they don't come within the boxes when you purchase these smartphones. Now, even though the processor on the A54 is more power efficient, I'll call this a tie between these devices because they are pretty much impressive in terms of the battery life from the smartphones. Well, if you're a power user who loves taking photos, then the Samsung Galaxy A54 is definitely worth the extra cash of $70 or 52,000 naira. The Galaxy A34 is a solid choice, no doubt, but the A54 is better value for money and the one you should get. Check out my review on the Galaxy A54 here. Creed that day.